If you're anything like me, you've gone into this whole parenting thing with only a vague notion of what it is you want your children to experience and achieve and to become like. Well, we're joined today with someone who does have a plan and has been working that plan for generations. Eric, you've been doing a lot more than just flying test flights for the Air Force. You've been a parent of 3 children.
Correct.
And you've been working what you've been calling a 50-point plan.
Well, it did come from pretty much from my father, but then my father's father had a plan for his kids as well. One day, I think Prince Charles was taking his son down to the Geelong Grammar, and he said he had a plan. He had a multi-point plan for his child, and I thought, I'm actually now going to really write this down rather than pass down from my parents, and that's where it really became defined. There's even things like at school, the kids will do a lot of public speaking. They will be encouraged to get up in front of the school. They'll be encouraged to do debating. They get to hear their voice bounce off the back of the wall and not frighten them. And they get the ability to be able to stand up there and talk to people. They get the ability to be able to look people in the eye when they're actually speaking because they have that confidence of speaking to a large auditorium.
So what are some of the larger things that you wanted them to experience?
One of the things I looked at first is what's going to hurt the kids? Where are they going to go wrong? There's going to be drugs, there's going to be injuries and death from driving accidents. Those sorts of things were top of mind. And in the way of
and things like
safety
that.
and things.
Yep.
So in the way of driving, the kids started driving. We hired farms. The kids started driving at the age of 9. When they got near driving age, we all went north to the Northern Territory, and they drove for days at 160 kilometres an hour in the poor old company car. And they got to experience what happens when a kangaroo jumps out in front of you. What happens when cars do silly things. They learned truck driving. Every one of them drove a semi-trailer, so that they knew the problems with a semi-trailer, that you can't pull in front of a semi-trailer and expect the trailer to stop. And as a result, we've had an accident-free history apart from some fender benders. So those sorts of things really work.
And Wayne, as you were growing up, were you aware that your dad and mum were working a plan?
I had no idea. I knew something was a little bit wrong when I turned 15, and my dad turned around to me and said, right, you're going to learn social ballroom dancing. And of course a 15-year-old boy doesn't want to learn social ballroom dancing. But there was, again, a plan behind it. And the plan was that somehow, some way, I ended up working with Department of Defence and some very, very large corporate companies and that type of thing as well, where I needed to know how to dance, where I'd go to big functions, big balls and that type of thing as well, and knowing how to dance was a really, really good thing. The things that I've experienced and the life I've been able to lead from having this 50-point plan in place and the experiences that I've learned along the way are absolutely incredible. I think another thing too is that I didn't know that I was going to have a job that I was going to be travelling the world with. Mum and Dad took us around, well, other than Europe, around the world, through Asia. Little did I know that I'd be working in Asia. And because I'd experienced the culture as a young age, I was able to not so much fit in, but be able to understand when I was there and how they worked and how they operated, and just to be familiar with the ground.
Oh, they say travel is a great education to have. When did you get an idea of the plan, and or how was it revealed to you that they've been working this plan all along?
At the age of 18, Dad handed me basically the key to life, along with Mum, and told me basically you have passed the test and passed the plan.
Right.
And the only thing that I didn't get to experience was travelling to Europe. I got to travel the rest of the world. But Mum and Dad have been very inspirational right through life. But I think that was pretty much when I had an idea. And being a parent myself to my daughter, I just see it as such an important thing, and it's something that I try to promote to to dads and mums out there too.
Yeah, because most of us aren't very intentional about parenting, but this sounds like you're parenting as if you mean it, and you've got a clear idea of what you'd like to see them experience and also learn. Was there a difference though with the daughters in the list that you had?
Absolutely not. Totally non-sexist. When we did firearm safety, the girls were in there just doing exactly the same thing. And we did some target practice one time, and my daughter outshot Wayne, which upset him quite a bit. Yes. Girls are very good at pistol shooting, I found out later. Both my daughters drove an 18-wheeler on the roads under instruction from a driver, just exactly the same as Wayne did. All the girls went and learned how to fly an aircraft, so in case anything ever happened and they were up with somebody and they had a heart attack, they could actually land that aircraft. I even took them to Air Force Base mess and got them to have lunch in the officers' mess and just understand how to work in a very strict environment where etiquette is very important.
What would a guy need to do in conjunction with his wife to be able to sit down and formulate a plan?
Every family is different. I found all the siblings tend to do the same sort of thing, just talking to people that have used bits and pieces of the plan. So try and work out, if you can, where you think the kids are going to shine. Now, you can get it wrong. You just sit down, you look where you think you want them to go, and you tailor the plan to that point, and then start off the basics. If the kid is young, you get them to do the public speaking bit. Right. And then when they get a bit older, you do some other bit, and then they get a bit older, you do some other bit.
Okay, so maybe an age-appropriate kind of way, looking at, by the time they're 5, I want them to be able to wash up, clean up their room, or maybe by 10, changing the oil in the car.
All that, yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
So some of those skills that a lot of young people are growing up without these days.
Yeah, look, I just encourage mums and dads out there, if they've got kids, to really to sit down and think, okay, what are the gifts, the passions, and the personality that your kids have got, and try and tailor a plan towards that. I think that we really do need to steer our kids in this day and age, and just to give them the very, very best chance that they can in life. It's not easy out there when you go into adulthood. And the world's getting a harder and harder place to live in. So therefore, if the kids are equipped to actually to handle that type of thing, and to get a good education, to understand the practicalities of life, and to experience some really good things, but also too safety.
So there's relational focus there, and skills to be developed, physical, mental, emotional. What about the spiritual?
The idea of it was really to get them as part of a spiritual life, so that they could fall back on those sort of teachings and also feel that they had something behind them when the times got bad. I think about when they're 80 years old and they're really sick and they're getting towards the end of their life, they can call back strength from the religious background.
I think definitely in tough times, what do you fall back on?
Yeah.
Do you either fall back on drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, gambling, or do you fall back onto, okay, this is a really tough part of my life at the moment. I've got to ride this storm, but if I do it right, I've got to come out the other side. And that's what faith is all about.
And it's not just when you need to fall back on it, but it's your motivation to live your life for the glory of God. There are all sorts of reasons that motivate a man to be a good father, the best he can be, and one of those is to leave a lasting legacy. Do you feel that there's a legacy that you are leaving this world?
So the legacies that I want to leave is my kids set up well for the rest of their life, which is what the 50-point plan did. Also, I'm retired, and I'm now gone back to work again to help out rebuilding in the fires area up in Murrindindi.
This is the Victorian Black Saturday bushfire
that's
area.
Right.
Right.
And it's really great. I had a chap in down in Narbathong. We were rebuilding the pathway, would you believe, and he come running up and he said, "Thank you for giving me back our town." And I nearly burst into tears, I'll tell you, because he had tears in his eyes.
But that's the way he saw it.
That's the way he saw it. Yeah. I didn't think I was doing such a great thing.
And Wayne, you're almost 40, but you haven't waited until now to start giving back to the community. No. That's all been part of the plan, hasn't it? To be less focused on yourself and more on others.
Yes. I'm the first to put my hand up whenever there's a place that's needed to actually help people and to help people be all they can be, and to also hit their true potential, and to also find the plan and purpose for their life. The most exciting thing for me is to actually help people develop into the people that they truly can be. As I said, I've got the 50-point plan ready. I've got 37 points at the moment for my daughter. She's already hit about 11, I think, and the confidence that she's gaining out of that is phenomenal.
Well, we're very excited about what you've revealed to us today, and we're looking forward to being able to see men all over Australia testify to the value it's had for them in knowing that they're actually working a plan, but also for their children and how they're going to turn out, because as we know, this nation really needs all the help that it can get. Thank you both.
Thanks very much, Rob.